Welcome to solverfy.
So let's talk a little bit about how GMOs are created. GMO stands for genetically modified organism. And the way that it's done in the laboratory is through the use of plasmids. So plasmids are these circular pieces of DNA. And plasmids have these restriction sites here, which are basically sequences of DNA that are recognized by a certain kind of nuclease called restriction enzyme. So the restriction enzymes are used to make precise cuts into the plasmid, and then we can insert a gene of interest into that plasmid. Now we take this entire plasmid with the inserted gene of interest and we put it into the bacterium. Now, from there, we can use the bacterium to either produce the protein that is encoded by by the DNA that we just inserted, or we can take that bacterium and insert it into a plant and have the plant pick up the gene of interest that way. And this is the overall process of how recombinant DNA. So this step right here, when you are combining different kinds of DNA, you are producing recombinant DNA. Okay, you are recombining DNA. And this is actually extremely useful. It has been used, for example, to make insulin to treat diabetes. So you just insert the insulin gene into the plasmid, put it into the bacterium, and have the bacterium produce insulin. And it is used a lot to improve food crops, make them resistant to disease, to drought, make them more nutritious. It has actually found great application in the food industry. So this is the general process of genetically modifying an organism. So the correct answer is introducing recombinant DNA into an organism by any means. And by any means is because all of this is how it is primarily done nowadays. Back in the day when we started experimenting with crops and creating hybrids, so all of the foods that we find in the grocery store, like all the tomatoes, the cucumbers, all of that stuff, they don't exist in nature. They only exist at the grocery store because our ancestors took different kinds of wild type plants and started hybridizing them together, and then eventually through trial and error and through just some luck, uh, nature itself produced some recombinant DNA from the hybrids that produced desirable traits. So a genetically modified organism is any organisms whose genome is modified by any means. So choice A is the correct answer here.